Welcome back to another podcast, and today we're back to talk about The Bachelorette.
Doot.
Yep, there we go. New intro. Loving it. Hope you enjoy the Christmas intro that I just made. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Whoop, whoop.
So anyway, we're back here today because, of course, there was another Bachelorette episode. And so, of course, we are going to have to talk about it, because that's what we do. We talk about things. Exciting things. And, of course, today, our episode picked up exactly where we left off last time, which was a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Bennett had just given the most thoughtful present ever to Noah that was totally not condescending or rude. And Noah was, being Noah. And we were waiting to see what was going to happen because Tayshia was like, what's in the box? And so, what happened?
Bennett told her what was in the box.
Actually, did he? He didn't really say what was in the box. He just said it was like a little gift that he prepared for him. And then Noah told her.
He started sweating profusely and said, well, it was something, and kind of stuttered a little bit and said it was something he put together for Noah.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with the way he behaved when he was sitting with Noah and Tayshia because, he said that we wouldn't have any issue telling her exactly about the gift and what he said. And then when Tayshia was there, he didn't want to say nothing. Okay? So
he turned into a blob.
I observed, I noted, I did not like. So then Tayshia, when she was sitting down, I did notice that she seemed to take the more aggressive stance towards Bennett and a more friendly stance towards Noah. So in the beginning of the conversation, I was initially leaning towards that she was probably going to keep Noah and send Bennett home, which obviously is what ended up happening.
Right.
I wasn't really impressed with Bennett's conversation with Noah. It felt very
condescending,
stoic, and like put together, and it just didn't feel sincere is the right answer. I think that Noah kind of hit it on the dot at the end of the conversation. For somebody who likes to talk a lot about emotional intelligence and different levels of emotional intelligence, I think one thing I will give Noah is that he hit on the dot the thing about, well, for someone who says that, I noticed that you are lacking in the one about like self-awareness because you don't seem to be self-aware and understanding how you come off to other people.
Yeah.
Which is true.
And he didn't have a response for that.
He didn't, because it's true.
He just
He's like,
there like,
touche.
Yep, I'm gonna have to agree.
He's like, touche.
He just
my man.
He gave that. Oh man, he got me.
I don't know. There's something that I was thinking when I was like looking at Bennett, and it's like this kind of, man. I had my brain exactly on what I wanted to describe him as, and now I completely forgot. I feel like he is someone who feels like he is just so intelligent, and he made a comment when Noah was talking about how Noah said that he's obviously the smartest guy in the house, and then Bennett was like, I obviously know that I'm different from everybody else. I hate people who like say that, like, oh, I'm different from everybody else. He almost, and I'm not like a psychologist and stuff, I can't,
this is your opinion.
Yeah, I can't, make any facts or whatever. Or there you go. That's the word, diagnose. I can't diagnose people. But he seemed to have this like narcissistic type personality disorder. Think you're special. Think you're different from other people. Always talking down to people. And then it's like he feels that if somebody takes something he said the wrong way, it's just because they're not as intelligent as he is. It's like, I don't know, something about it that I don't like.
Well, I mean, I got to give him that he is very confident. He's a very confident person. He knows that he's intelligent. He knows that he looks good. He knows that he's he knows it. That's just being raised with confidence. A little bit too much, maybe, where to the point where he's a little cocky about it. But, I mean, you got to give him some credit. He is a very confident person.
Something about him feels socially awkward.
And
I don't know.
When I felt like Tayshia was the mother sitting in between her two boys.
I know.
Because it's like she looked at Bennett and was like, I expected better from you. And then she looked at Josh like,
Noah. You keep calling him Josh.
I don't know why I keep calling him Josh.
His name, he looks like he would be, but he's a Noah.
So she looks at Noah like, this is what I expect from you.
Right?
But it's like, Bennett, that. I expect more. I had such high hopes for you. Oh, you're giving what you can get, right. It's like, I was like, she looks just like a mom where she knows her two kids and she knows this is what he can give and you expect better from him.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I was like,
I have to say that like every conversation she had throughout the episode, I'm like constantly impressed with how she handles these conversations and how she articulates herself and, you know, how she like puts people in their place, but she does it in like just the right way.
Like a mommy.
That it's just like,
she's going to be a great mom.
You can't argue with her.
Yeah. You can't.
And I was
she's
like,
a fair person, and I like that she's fair. She's very fair, and she puts blame where it belongs, and she straightens out the people she needs to straighten out.
She's level-headed and mature, and she's able to not emotionally react to things like instinctively. Like, you know, some people are very rash and they act with emotion. It's the Virgo, man. She's like she is like taking in that like Virgo thing where it's very like observant, you know, observes both sides and comes at it in a more rational, thoughtful approach rather than to act out of emotion.
She listens.
She acts out of thought. Yeah, she like listens to everything and then absorbs the information and then she comes to a decision and then she responds. Yeah. And that's what makes her able to like navigate every situation.
I think Bennett probably would have stayed if he didn't make the comment that made her feel like all her decisions needed to be questioned.
That was the part she couldn't let go.
Because, you know, a Virgo don't like to be questioned about their feelings. And they don't like to be questioned about the decisions they make, because when they make a decision, they base it on the facts that they receive.
The worst thing you can do to a Virgo, the worst thing you can do to a Virgo is do anything that questions their character. They do not like their character to be questioned.
And I think that's where she didn't expect that from him.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what she said. She was even like,
and it was like condescending a little bit. He kind of condescended their conversation, and she's like,
he's like, here's my problem.
This is such a downer. Because she had a lot of feelings for him.
My problem with Bennett is that it's hard for him to take accountability for when he does wrong. He doesn't know how to take accountability. All he knows how to do is say, you know, I'm sorry that you felt that way, but that's not how I intended to come off. And then he says it in a way that's almost like, oh, so you're saying I wasn't intelligent enough to like understand how you meant what you said? Yeah. That just, what you should have just done was apologize and just say you shouldn't have said it at all, period. Mm-hmm. Like, he could not take accountability for the fact that he just said something messed up. Like, just say whether you meant it that way or not, that's how it came off.
Yeah, and every time she expected him to apologize for the thing that he said,
he would like backtrack with some explanation.
He wasn't apologizing for it. He was just apologizing that she felt that way, but he didn't apologize and say, you know, I'm sorry that I said it. I'm sorry that I said that. I'm sorry that I was condescending.
You shouldn't say I'm sorry. You should never tell someone, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Exactly. That's just like, oh, you know, I didn't do anything wrong.
You don't understand what I'm trying to tell you because you're just dumb.
I'm sorry that you don't know how to understand what I said, right? And you're being hurt by it. And it's not my fault. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. Yeah. It's like, you don't apologize that way. You never say, I'm sorry you feel that way.
I understand.
Like, don't they teach you?
I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you in that way. Or, you know.
It's like, I apologize. I didn't mean to come off that way. I apologize that I said that.
But no, well, I'm sorry you feel that way because what I said was correct, but you're just taking it wrong.
Right? That's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
That's why she looked at him and she's like, he's still not apologizing for it.
When he felt he had to break down the 4 emotional intelligence things again, it made her feel like, really? So now you're feeling like you got to educate me. Okay. Yes. Next. Yeah. And she didn't like that at all. I could see she was very like...
Yeah, and Noah
she didn't get what she needed from the conversation.
He's very condescending. Is that the kind of guy you want hanging around? So, I mean, he's condescending to all of us in the house. Could you imagine how he's going to be with you when he feels more comfortable?
That's true.
So I mean, I gave that to...
For someone who says that they're, you know, perfect for being in a relationship and stuff, it's like, that's not how you are. That's not how you should be in a relationship. Because does that mean that every time she, like, you do something or you say something that's, like, offends her or makes her feel a certain type of way, every single time it's just going to be you saying, oh, you didn't just, like, understand it correctly. Yes. Like... And then when she had the conversation with Noah, and then Noah brought that up at the end, that he was like, oh, I'm just concerned that I'm seeing this pattern of behavior, and that I'm concerned that should you end up choosing him, that he is going to start doing that to you. Yes. And then she started thinking, and she was like, she saw it kind of in the conversation, because he kind of did it in the convo, and then after that it was like, okay, goodbye.
Now when when she walked him out, that she didn't feel comfortable walking him out. That's number one. She never expected him to go home. Yeah. He was one of the ones that was going to meet the family. I'm
Possibly.
pretty sure, because like she said, I did not expect this. This didn't feel right. Now, when she went back and Noah stood up, and did you see how he was guzzling down all those mints? Like she was going to come back to him and start kissing him and everything.
Yeah, I was like,
dude, really?
Come on, Noah.
I loved the way she handled that when she came in and he was giving this big smile. She's like, don't do that. This ain't a happy moment. This isn't a victory for you. She's like, I'm not going to give you the rose because I still have to think about this. Yeah. I was like, yeah, you go, girl. Ooh. Tell him. I wish everybody did that.
Right?
She was like, this is not a victory for you.
Yeah. Needless to say,
not at all. She made him sweat. Good. Yo, he was sweating even when they was handing out the rose. I knew she was going to wait. I knew she was going to give him a rose, but I knew she was going to keep him holding until the end.
I had a feeling she was going to give him a rose anyways. But yeah, so, right, needless to say, we went to the rose ceremony. He did get a rose. The guys who were sent home was Damar, Spencer, and who was the other person?
The little short one.
Holy cow, who the heck was the third person? I was looking at him so much because he was right next to Noah.
Baby. He carried the baby in one of the seasons when they did the daddy
No,
thing.
that was Ed.
That's the one who left.
No, Ed was still there because he was on the group date. Wasn't he? Yeah, he was on the group date.
He's one of the ones that left.
She put a face mask on him at the end of the episode.
Yeah, they showed him doing the face mask, but he was one of the ones that left.
Oh, shoot. You're right. What, man.
It was
my
Ed,
God.
Spencer, and Damar.
That threw me off because Ed, at the end of the episode,
and of course, Bennett.
At the end of the episode, she was putting the face mask on him, and I was like, that was like the last thing I saw, so for some reason. Yeah, so it was Spencer, Damar, and Ed.
Yes.
I told you Damar was not going to make it far.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
No. I didn't see it.
Now, what I will say is, and I was thinking this like as I kept watching the episode, because obviously next was the date that she had with Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I'm constantly seeing her with Ben or Zach C. Zach C, the one who she had the date with last. I see her with Zach. I see her final two being Ben and Zach.
Yeah.
Like, that's just who I see. I just keep seeing final two, Ben, Zach, Ben, Zach, Ben, Zach. I don't know why. Ever since the beginning, I've always said.
It's the way she is around them.
I've always said with Ben, I see him in her final two. And then with Zach, when they did the date with the wedding stuff, I was like, I see Zach. So I was like, for some reason, I just see in my final two, Zach and Ben. And then if there's a third person for her third, maybe like, I could see like Ivan or Brendan.
Probably more Brendan.
Maybe Brendan. Ivan. One of those two. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself.
But I don't know. I kind of see Ben because she is like, he's everything.
There's
she
something
likes
about Ben.
Yeah.
There's something about Ben.
Yeah.
Man.
She was like, he was in the army. You know, he's like everything. He's that package that she likes.
Mm-hmm.
What she's just having trouble with is having him bring out himself.
Yeah, which we got that today. They had a little date and they went around I'm like, is that all La Quinta where they were riding their little things around? Yo, that place is huge.
It is huge.
It had a tennis court. They rode around on these little, what are they called? Scooters? They're electric scooters.
Little electric scooters. And I loved the game that they were playing.
It was like this little clue game. They went to a tennis court and they took out the balls, and then there was a note, and then it went to some piñatas. They knocked out some piñatas and got another note, and then it took them to this place, and then they relaxed and they talked a little bit, and then they had their evening portion of the date, which was like the meat and potatoes of the whole thing, where they had a very deep conversation, and Ben opened up and shared some very intimate details about things he's gone through in his past, including that he was previously in the military. He broke his back. He was I guess feeling like lost in his life. And then he said that his sister was pretty much the person who got him all through it. And he did have 2 failed suicide attempts in the past, which was crazy. When he was having the conversation, you could tell that it was very, very difficult for him to say.
Yeah. I just want to say, you know, anyone who feels like they have some suicidal tendencies or thinks about suicide, there's always help. There's the hotline to reach out to for suicide hotline. So there's always help. And his sister, like he said, without her knowing, she saved his life.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You never know what you are doing for somebody else,
Yeah.
which is why it's always important to be kind to each other. You never know what somebody else is going through.
Yep.
Also, with that being said, I'm going to include in the description of our episode some resources
Yes.
for suicide prevention and depression. But yeah, I thought it was very powerful that he shared his story there. And obviously he is still here today. And thank goodness, because he wouldn't be able to have this wonderful experience with Tayshia. And she said that she, if I'm not mistaken, in her little clip on the side, she said that she loved Ben. She said, I'm loving Ben, or I love Ben, or I love something like that. I swear I heard her say, I love Ben, or I'm loving Ben, or something along those lines. Was it? Yeah, was it just me? I swear I heard her say, I love Ben.
I know she told Zach that she's falling for him.
Yes, she did, but she told, but
I know
she
that
didn't say it to him.
Say I love everything about Ben. Mm-hmm. She was like, I love everything about Ben.
She said, I love everything about him, and then she's like, I love Ben. And it was in the part when they were
dancing. You're gonna make me go back and look at it.
Yeah, it was in the part where they were dancing in front of the live little. Maybe if you can call that a band.
I could be in love with Ben.
She didn't say I could. She said I love. She said I love everything about him. I love Ben. I'm telling you, I heard it.
I'm gonna have to go back and.
I swear to you, I heard her say it.
I swear we're gonna have to take a break and go back and look at this.
They were dancing with the little live band, if you can call it a band. It was like two people, and they were singing.
I mean, Ben is the total package because he is the total package. I just feel like with Ben, when it comes to relationship and talking about feelings and stuff, it's gonna be like pulling teeth with him because he shuts down, and she's not, and a Virgo is not like that. A Virgo, they don't shut down. They're just annoyingly picking at you, especially female Virgos are annoyingly picking until they get out of you what is going on. I don't know what sign he is, but he shuts down and it's hard for him to speak about what he feels.
Gemini? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
That could be. I mean, I'm the type that shuts down too. I mean,
I'm like, what's a sign that's emotionally unavailable?
And you know, him as a Virgo, he just keeps on and keeps on. I think women are worse than the men, but I just walk away because when I shut down, I shut down. So I don't know. He could be a Gemini.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. So they had that. Obviously, Ben got the rose. And so we know that he's getting his, they're saying hometowns, but like, I don't know, are they really doing hometowns, or is it going to be some virtual thing? Are they flying the family out?
I think they're
inquiring minds need to know.
Families were being quarantined.
I think so, maybe.
But
how do they know whose family to quarantine?
I think the last guys, all their families are there.
You think?
Yes. And I think they're waiting for her to make her decisions. And as she's basing her decisions, they get to keep staying.
They're bringing the family out, I think.
Yeah, because it takes time. It takes time for the quarantine. They have to quarantine these people. And they're all going to be there. They're not going to the hometown because it's meet the family instead of home.
It would be too risky to fly all the way out, you would think, right?
Yeah. They don't want to risk exposure because they're already compounded there.
Yes, everybody there has been tested.
They don't want to stop filming. So
except Chris Harrison.
So they rather have everybody come in, stay quarantined. It's a huge place. They can stay out of each other's ways, stay quarantined, and then as she picks, they either stay or go.
I guess that makes sense.
It gives them a little...
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it gives them a little time, a little vacation.
And you know, Tayshia's family's probably have been there the whole time.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Probably. That would be cool, though. Nice little vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next day after that was a group date where they did some lie detectors. And just so you know, I looked up online because I know I remember seeing stuff about like lie detectors really aren't that accurate.
They're not.
So when I looked it up, it said that basically under the most perfect of under the most perfect of perfect conditions, if you have somebody who knows exactly what they're doing, who's good at what they do, and assuming that everything works properly and everything, your accuracy is still only 80 to 90%. And that's with like having like the best and the most perfect conditions, which we know obviously weren't present tonight. Although apparently, I guess a lot of the dings and misses were on point. But Yeah, needless to say, actual lie detectors are 80 to 90% accurate. So under the best
That's
of
why
best
they don't
conditions.
really use them in the courts anymore.
Yeah, and it's like for a really big case, are you really willing to take the 10% or 20% chance that could be off?
I mean, they still offer it. They still ask you,
yeah, but you can say
willing
no
to take the lie detector test? You can say no, and if you do take it, I mean, they really can't
listen
take it
to
that
Riley
much into consideration.
I know, to Riley, the lawyer, because when he sat down, and they asked him, "Oh, you must do a lot of these," and he's like, "I'm a lawyer, and I always tell them not to."
Yep.
He's like, "We definitely do not want them to take a lie detector test."
Exactly.
Even if you're innocent.
Because there's still a chance. If you're nervous, sweaty, or if you're on medications, it can also alter and make it look like you're lying about everything.
True. That's why I don't really take too much weight into the whole lie detector stuff. Yeah. Plus, there's some people that are just really good liars, and they feel no remorse.
And if they have no remorse, then there's no difference in...
Yeah, it makes them look clean when they're not. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, because lie detector tests are based on your heart rate, your pulse, and something else.
Oh,
so
I don't know.
When you're asked a question, your pulses and heart rates, they fluctuate depending on how you're going to answer.
I didn't go that deep into it. I know there's a thing they do. They run a baseline on you, and then it does some sort of calculation, and then they form a lie of deception and a lie of truth, a line of deception, a line of truth, and they ask you a bunch of questions, and they ask you to they have you do a version where you tell the truth, and they have you do a version where everything is lies. Well, no, they run it through, and they have certain questions, and they run through the questions with you like multiple times that you know every single one. And some of the questions you deliberately have to lie. So they'll be like, so for this question, even though the truth is this, we're going to you to lie and say no, and it's to establish a line of truth and a line of deception.
To see if it'll pick up any...
Right. To determine, because they have to find a line of truth for you and a line of deception. By having you answer the questions they know are correct to be incorrect, they can determine where your line of deception lies when they run the test. Anyways. So we don't know if they did all of that for this, but maybe they did. Who knows?
She took the test first, and she did good. They did say... one of the questions were, is she falling in love? She said yes. It was green. Are you in love with more than one person? She said yes. It turned green. Is your husband in this room? Is your husband in this group
of men that
are left? And she said yes, and it turned green.
Sorry, Bennett.
Do you regret any decisions that you've made? And she was like, nope, and it turned green.
Sorry, Bennett.
So,
yeah. So it was for Bennett, obviously, I guess, was the one that she regretted. She even said it after she sent him home that it didn't feel right. So kind of knew that was coming.
So, then it was the guy's turn.
First up was who? Who was first up? I can't remember.
First
up was someone innocent who got like every question.
Brendan? No, it wasn't Brendan.
I don't remember.
I can't think.
I think
it was Noah.
No. Noah was second. I don't remember who was first. Anyways, the notable things was that Noah... Zach, maybe. Could be Zach. No, Zach was the one where they asked if he cheated. He said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they made it look like it was such a big deal.
Yeah, but it wasn't. And then the other big notable thing was that Riley apparently was lying about his name.
Yeah.
They were like, what?
It was like, what is your full name? And then he was like, Riley, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, red.
Tayshia was shook.
And everybody looked at him like, what? That's
like,
not
what?
your
How
name?
you lie about your name? Like, everything else fine, but your name?
About your name?
Right? Tayshia was like shook. She was like, what? That's not his name?
I know. She's like, then who is
he? She's like, who is this? Who have I been spending time with? Who else? Oh, Brendan was the one who was unsure about the going home.
Yes.
Seeing the family.
Yes, he was. But he explained himself, and I agree with him.
It made sense.
It made perfect sense. And she was, a lot of guys, some of their stuff turned yellow and red, but they had very good explanations for them. So
yeah, they had
even though
legitimate reasons.
The commercials made it look like there was so much drama because of it.
Not really.
Wasn't. Like with Zach, he cheated. Yeah, he cheated on his very first girlfriend in sixth grade.
That doesn't even count, dude.
No, it doesn't count. I don't even know why he said
why he said that. It doesn't count.
Anyway,
the part of me that is pessimistic,
unless he's telling the truth.
The part of me that is questioning of all people and doesn't trust people wants to believe that he said yes because he actually cheated more recently, and he just said sixth grade.
That's what I said.
Because when he was telling the story, it looked like he was trying to think of something. He was like, how do I make this sound like not serious?
I was like, I don't think that's right. I think he cheated recently. I think he cheated on the last person he was married to. I think he was married to her. I mean, he was going through a lot of drugs and stuff. You do a lot of weird things.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
could be.
I say
I can't make any statements because I don't know his life story,
exactly, but I feel like he did.
I'll just say my opinion, and I think that
I didn't like the story he gave.
I think maybe it was more recent than sixth grade. That's all I'm saying.
I think he pulled that story. It might have happened, but I think he had to think real hard about that story.
Yeah.
And then he told her and used that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't believe that one.
But yeah, I don't believe it.
But that's just my opinion. And then today we got the most emotion I've ever seen out of this person, Riley. I was like, no. Riley was like making me really worried about what was he about to. I was like, what is he about to?
I told you he's like
tell.
I told you he had so much stuff on him.
Oh my gosh, I have to say that him tonight. I got the most understanding of why a person is the way they are when Riley told his story.
Yes,
and when he his story that he told, I felt like I saw through him. Yes. I felt like I saw more of who he was, and I just like him so much more.
I know.
It's he just gets more and more likable the more that you learn about him.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when he told the story of his name, why he changed his name,
so much respect.
His color changed, his demeanor changed. He looked lighter, and I was like, "This is the person that I wanted to see. This is the guy that I wanted to see." He finally took everything off his shoulder and he put everything on the table, because I tell you, I said, he looks like a ticking time bomb. Like, he looks like he has all this anger or stuff inside of him. And if he doesn't release it, he can, it can be really bad.
I want to have Riley on our podcast. He's someone I would love to talk to. But I feel like when he was telling his story, it explains a lot to me about kind of like how he carries himself and everything. And I think that's where the chip on the shoulder thing comes from. He is carrying something on him. And he explained it tonight when he was talking about, because I know before I said, when we were talking about how he had that conversation with his mom when he reconnected with her.
Yes.
And I was talking about it and telling you that I was like, I'm pretty sure he said something about his dad had caused a lot of that.
Yes, he did.
And
his dad kept putting in their heads.
It looks like,
she was no good. She was bad. Yeah.
And it looked like, I guess it ended up kind of being the other way around.
Yes, it was.
And so now it's like he feels so much guilt that she was not a part of his life and stuff, and the way that he thought of her in the past. And it's like he's trying to make it up to her.
Yes.
But it's not your fault. You can't blame yourself for something that your parent really did to you.
I don't think he's blaming himself.
It's like he feels, but it's like, I feel like he carries, even though he shouldn't have any guilt, I feel like it's still kind of there for just the fact that maybe he thought of his mom like that for so many years, and he carried around with you, and it's like then he realizes the truth of the situation. He's reconnected with his mom. He went through the whole process of changing his name, so obviously it's something that was very heavy on him.
Oh,
if he felt that he needed to change his name.
I mean, could you imagine being a kid growing up hating your mom because your dad made everything he said about their mother, he probably did it in such a conniving way that it was so believable. Because
Probably.
You know how narcissist people are. They'll take true stories and twist it around to make you be like, well, why would they say it? It has to be true because, they put stuff in your head to make you think, oh, I remember that. But I kind of don't remember it that way. Maybe I was too young to remember it that way, but I guess that's the truth. You know what I mean? So I don't know. He still has a lot of work. He feels so bad, and he feels like he owes her so much.
Yeah, because he didn't go into detail, but he said that it turned out his dad took some stuff from his mom. So I don't know. Obviously, there's some messiness there,
the full custody, and he said, my dad took a lot of things away from my mother that did not belong to him. like full custody and other things.
Yeah, so they didn't go into details, but yeah. But anyways, yeah, it gave me a lot of insight into how him and why he carries himself the way he does, and it explained a lot about him.
Yes, it does.
But it made me like him even more.
Yes, it does. Just the one thing that I'm scared about is well, not scared, just a little concerned that he's so desperate to look for that wholesome family that he might build a family that won't last long because he's building it on a dream and not a reality. So he's so desperate to get that family that sometimes when you do things desperately, it doesn't come out right.
Yeah, well, only if you're just thinking about all the stuff that you don't want to have instead of stuff that you do, then that's when you kind of start attracting those things. But there's nothing a little bit of time and therapy can't help.
Yeah, I think he does need a little bit. I mean, I think he did say he was getting therapy or something, or he did speak to someone, or he's thinking. I think I remember him saying something like that to Tayshia.
Possibly.
That is something that he's working on with therapy.
Yeah, he said he's working. I think he said, he's working on stuff.
On himself, and
which is good.
That is good.
We can all work on ourselves.
Yep, we sure can.
But yeah, Riley's was a deep conversation of the night. Anyway, I had to talk about it because it was like,
it was. I got
a big part of.
I don't usually get emotional with the, candidates, but he hit me. I feel like I was punched in the gut when he was talking. Like, oh, I feel so bad for him.
The whole time through the show, you just look at him and like, there's something about Riley. There's something about Riley.
I told you there was something about Riley.
In a good way, though. I've always liked him, though. And who else? Who else had a big moment tonight? I think that was kind of it.
I think he was the biggest moment.
Yeah, he was the biggest moment of the night, I think. Well, for that, for the group date.
And then when it ended and she was supposed to give the rose out, I liked the decision that she made.
Oh, yes.
Everyone touched her so much that she just couldn't make that decision. She couldn't just, because everyone had a great story. Everyone opened up to her. She got to know everyone more. And it was hard to just say, okay, your story was the best, or your feelings were the best, or
there is no your stories. It's whoever you're connected.
Right. But the rose kind of indicates who touched you more, kind of thing, and who do I want to keep around more.
To me, the rose indicates who you had the deepest connection with.
Right. But she had a deep connection with all of them, which is why I love that she said, I can't give this rose to anyone right now because I had that deep connection with every single one of you. Like every single one of you, I got to know at a deeper level.
It must be hard when you can connect with people easily.
Yes, it is. So
Tayshia's got this thing that is like, she just is such a listener that it's so easy for people to just like talk to her and open up to her. And then it's hard for her too, because she just is like, she's so like, it's like she sees more, like she sees in people, and it's easier for her to connect with people. I don't know. That's what's going to make it so hard for her.
It is.
She's going to have a rough end of the season, man. It's going to get rough when she starts sending more people home.
The more people she sends home,
she's going to be torn.
Because, the less men on the show, the deeper connections she has. So it's not like, well, I didn't connect with you. Goodbye. I mean, it's sad to see you go, but, I didn't have that connection. But she has a deep connection with almost all of these guys that are left. Yeah. So it's going to keep getting harder. She's going to have to start nitpicking.
Even some people like some people they weren't really showing that much of, like Demar when he left, and somebody else when they left who I can't remember, but Ed
Spencer,
when they left.
Ed.
Yeah, Ed. They were talking about like how they had all these conversations and stuff, and they opened up and everything, and they were like connecting. I was like, really? When?
I didn't see that.
Right? I guess what is she connecting? She connecting with everybody.
And I think Spencer, she had some time with Spencer, and I didn't even see that kind of connection with Spencer.
Yeah, me neither. Either. They maybe just didn't show it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is she having that deep of conversations with everybody? I guess. I don't know. So what happened after the group date?
So after the group date, she was going to her room.
Oh yeah,
And guess who was there?
Bennett was there. Oh my God, you see how she was so shocked that the gate hit her. She was so shocked. She opened the gate. She forgot there was a gate there.
And right on her. She bumped in like, oop. Yeah. And then she's just looking at him like, what are you doing here?
But also she was smiling.
Yes, she was.
Like she was happy to see him.
Yes, she was.
Drat.
Oh, and then he's in love with her.
Yeah, he said, I love you.
She's bougie like he is. You know what I mean?
I love you.
Like I could see them, two pretty people, doing things that they love, sipping mimosas in the morning.
I was actually shocked.
And
I didn't,
in their robes. I could just see them.
I didn't think that Bennett was really that in. But
no, he was.
And then I had to say it. I had to ask myself, is he really that into her? Yeah. Or is he just shocked that somebody could turn him down?
Or did he feel,
I don't know.
Is he having some ego?
That's what I'm saying.
Issue.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is it an ego issue or does he really love her?
When he said, I'm in love with you, I don't know, his face. He can't. Bennett is a guy, he can't hide his face.
He said, you are too eloquent.
Yep.
And beautiful and intelligent.
Yep.
And perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, you heard all the big words he used to describe her.
He
pulled out his diction. He pulled out his thesaurus and he was like, gorgeous.
She checks everything off on his list. She's
the way she carries herself.
She carries herself elegant. She likes the expensive stuff like he does. You know, it's like...
That's true.
She is his perfect match.
She's his match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, and the way she carries herself.
Where am I going to find another woman like this who could put me in my place and do it intelligently?
Right.
You know? Where am I going to find a woman like that? They must
have that, like, they probably have that, like, mental...
Yeah.
They have that mental stimulation when they talk to each other.
Yeah. She does, because she loves a smart conversation.
Yeah, they're on the intellectual
and
level.
He can hold a smart conversation.
Yeah, and so can she. So they must have these really great intellectual conversations.
Yes. And she loves
Noah would never understand.
Fed. She loves her mind being fed.
Noah would never understand.
No, he wouldn't.
I would like to see Bennett and Tayshia having a really intelligent conversation, and Noah is just like, what?
I don't know. Her and Bennett, they're at the same level.
I'm just kidding, Noah.
I see Noah as a younger guy where I feel like she has to be grooming him.
Noah's too immature.
He is.
Don't say groom.
Very immature.
Don't say grooming.
Why?
Do you know what that means?
Well, well, I mean, I see him like she has. I know. Well,
I had to explain this.
Than her.
Actually, allow me to explain this to you so that you never use grooming again, because I just learned this. Listen, grooming is what it's called when a full-grown adult, takes a child, someone who's a minor, and conforms them or grooms them to then have a relationship with them.
Yeah, but you can do that with anybody. Grooming. Anyone who has a mental level.
Yeah, but when you say
lower than yours.
Yeah, but nowadays if you say grooming, people assume that you're talking about an adult having a relationship with a minor.
Well, remember what Bennett said.
It's like brainwash. Like Noah brainwashing
like
them.
Talking to a 14-year-old.
Yeah, but don't say grooming. Don't say Tayshia and grooming in the same sentence.
Well, I mean,
when you're talking about grooming a person,
because it's like she's got to teach him things, and
she don't got time for that.
She doesn't have time to be teaching a man.
No.
So
Tayshia is like too sophisticated for that.
Noah would never feed her intellectually.
Tayshia does not have time for her.
No. I think she's keeping Noah around because he's fun.
That's what I thought. I was like, she probably just thinks he's cute and fun.
He's cute. He's fun. She can play with him. But
that sounds weird.
When it gets down to the seriousness, he's gonna go home.
Yeah,
because he is not ready. He's not ready.
I don't see Bennett for her.
But I can see Noah doing what Bennett is doing if she sends him home. I can see him going to her room crying.
Yeah.
Don't send me home.
Please don't send me home.
I love you. I love you.
Here's what Noah's gonna do.
Well, my titties are dry, so.
Ew. What the hell?
I'm done feeding you.
Oh,
Goodbye.
No more breastfeeding Noah. I was like, ew, why would you say that? Gross.
No more breastfeeding Noah. You gotta go.
I cannot. Well, somebody had to.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. No, she's gonna send Noah home. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sad, but I understand." And then when he walks out, he's gonna be like, "Hey, anybody know where JoJo's room is?
I know, right?
Where's JoJo's room?"
Mhm.
And then by that
Okay,
time,
but
Chris
he's not the
Harrison,
only one
Chris
looking
Harrison
at-
is back.
He's not the only one looking at JoJo.
Well, how can you not?
She's cute.
She's gorgeous.
She is.
I love her.
Who was her single? Oh, Ben. Did you notice how Ben looked at her? Yeah, he gave that look.
No,
I mean, she's cute. When she
Yeah.
was coming on the scooter, he was like looking at her.
Oh
When she
yeah,
got
I
off
was
the
like,
scooter,
oh
he
no.
was looking at her. When she walked away, he was looking at her.
It's okay.
So
I was looking at her.
I mean, I think we all were. We all forgot about poor Tayshia and Ben and started focusing on JoJo.
And we're like, okay. I was like, well, yeah. I was like, oh man, they can't have
Her
JoJo
little
here.
cute
It's not
petite
fair
body.
because then we're just looking at her, and then I forget
Mhm.
that the show is about somebody else. You can't have
Yeah,
JoJo
they
there.
should've
You gotta
had
have
someone
somebody
else
like
come in.
you need someone who is less.
Man, lucky she's
No,
not
you
a
can't
flirt.
say that. You can't say that. Less attractive. That's
Lucky she's
rude.
not a flirt, you know? That's what I like about her
No,
because
she's got her man.
lucky, you know, that's what I like about her, that she is drop dead gorgeous, but she doesn't act it. Like, she's just JoJo.
She's humble,
Yeah, she's just JoJo.
chill.
She doesn't realize how gorgeous she is. I like people like that. They're
And-
not all into their
Yeah.
looks and constantly wanting men's
But
attention.
also, when she walked in the room, like at the rose ceremony, she was like so
Mhm.
small.
I know.
It's like she came down here, and Tayshia had to look down and say,
I know.
"Okay."
She's like, okay. She's so petite. You just want to put her on a shelf somewhere.
right? You just want to be like,
Creepy.
"Okay, here you go." Ding.
That's my doll.
The Barbie
She's
doll
just
came
sitting
in
there.
to say that the rose ceremony is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that was the end of the episode. Well, actually, she
yeah.
told him
she
that
told him that she was going to think about it because he
Yeah.
said, I want to stay. Give me another chance. And she's like, wow, you're really putting me on the spot.
yeah.
So she's
Yeah,
like,
and
I
after
can't.
she just had all these
I
emotional
know.
talks and got all deep
She's
with
like,
everybody,
I feel like she wanted to say, I'm full.
right? That's
Damn
how you
it,
feel.
I am full. You need to go because I have to empty out some of this.
For the
And
record, though, I would be
I think
too.
I don't think I would have taken him back.
Yeah, I would have to
I mean,
say,
at some point, you got to respect your own decisions.
I would say I'm gonna have to stick with my initial thing, and if my initial thing was send you home, I'm just gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with it.
Yeah. I don't think
Everything
it's fair
happens
to
for
the
a
other
reason.
guys to bring him back. Number one. If you didn't feel that it was fair to send him home due to all the issues that was going on, then you also had the right to keep them both or send
That's
them
true.
both. Because rules are broken all the time. You know, she didn't have to send him home. She could have just kept them for the rose ceremony or whatever. I feel once you make a decision, even though it didn't feel right, you still made that decision. And if you made that decision, obviously there was a disconnect somewhere. So respect yourself and respect the decision that you make. And when you make a decision, you stick to it.
That's true.
I mean, that's how I am. If I throw something out, I don't pick it back up.
That's true. I never gained anything from going back to something that I
No.
initially had decided
Because
not
when
to.
you put something out, you put it out for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go for everybody because sometimes people take people back or whatever, and then they end up staying with them like for the actual long term and all that, and they end up being together forever. So, I mean, everybody's different, but I don't know. I just don't see it with her and Bennett.
It's different if you're just separating, but she didn't separate.
I'm
She
sorry.
made a decision. She sent him home.
There's 4 letters too many on that name, and it's actually Ben. Ben is the one and not Bennett. Sorry.
I know, right? Ben, Bennett, Ben.
It's
Bennett,
Ben, not Bennett. Ben, Bennett, Brendan.
I know, all these B's.
Ben, Brendan, Bennett, Zach.
All these
Oh, no,
biatch.
Zach. back. I can't talk. Jeez. Ben, Bennett, Zach.
That is called
Riley. Yeah, that one really doesn't fit in. Riley.
Actually, his name is Dwayne.
Oh, Dwayne.
His real name is Dwayne, but his new self is Riley.
Riley and something else. He had 3 names. And
It's
there was a
cool.
name before.
Yeah.
It was something Riley.
It was Dwayne
Don?
something, and then
Dwayne Riley.
Riley something.
Something.
RSS. That's him.
I'm not good at remembering names. I'm really not.
Riley
I've never
something.
been.
Me either.
I never remember names. I have people come to me and be like, "Hi, Sam." I'm like, "Oh, forgot who you are."
It's funny because I remember names. I just can't remember the name. The
Like,
faces
I know your
that go
face,
with
but I
the
don't know
name.
your name. What's your name again? And that awkward moment when you try to not have to say their name for any reason, and then you wait till somebody else says their name.
I know.
And you're like, "Oh yeah, that's what it was." So you don't want to sound like a jerk because they're like, they really know your name.
Oh my God. Not me.
Like,
I'm
hey,
like,
Sam. I'd be like, "Oh, hey, you."
I'll look
how's
at
it
them
going?
and they're like, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I'm like, "I want to remember you."
Wow, I want to remember.
I do. I'm like, I swear I want to remember you.
Man,
but for the life of me, I can't. I'm so sorry. And they're like, "It's okay. It's been a long time." And
man, you look like, man, I really would like to remember you. Like, you look like somebody that I probably vibed with, but man, I can't remember your name, yo, for real. What did we talk about?
Seriously.
Okay, but what's even worse though is when you do think you remember them and then you bring up something and you realize that it wasn't them.
How about
like,
you?
Oh shit, I thought that you were the one that I did oh, never mind. Beats.
It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. That wasn't me. Oh, my bad. Sorry. That's why I'm honest, you know. If I don't remember you, I don't remember you. I'm not gonna fake a funk.
Name again? I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names. Like, truthfully. Sometimes I'm bad with faces. I don't know.
I'm bad all the time. Can't fake the funk.
You're bad all the time. Yeah, I was like, I'm so bad at names. You know how long it takes me to remember people's names? Then you want to be bringing in new people. Come on.
What about when you think you know somebody? You'd be like, Mary. Mary.
You right? And they'd be like, who the hell's Mary? Who that?
And they look at you and they're like,
are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? I'm like, yeah, you're Mary.
Oh my God.
You're Mary.
That's the worst.
No, I'm not Mary. Oh my God, you look just like this girl named Mary that I knew. Oh, you could be her twin.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I did that. No, actually, one time I was calling somebody. They were from behind, like looking at them from behind.
Oh,
I
swear. Hate that.
And I'm like, Karen. And
my gosh.
And I'm like, walk up to, oh, you're not Karen. I am so sorry. And they're like, oh, it's okay.
Oh my God.
Or how about when they're calling, they're like, hey, hi.
No,
and you're like, hey, and it's the person that's behind you.
I had somebody else do that to me one time. They were like, hey. They kept saying somebody else's name and I'm like ignoring them, and then they'd be like, hey, and they'd be like, me. I'm like,
no.
Me who? Oh, they're like, oh my God, you look like somebody else. No, never mind.
I got the one that they were like, they called me something. I'm just gonna say they called me Rona, and I was like,
run away.
I was like, quiet, and they're like, oh, you're gonna act like you don't know somebody, right? And I was like,
because I don't know you.
I was like, I don't know you.
And also, who is
I'm
Rona?
not Rona. And they're like, no, you're joking, right? Because I know Rona for a long time. You hurt. No, I'm like, no.
I'm like, you don't know Rona that
Nancy. Well? Seriously, I'm Nancy. You want to see my driver's license? And they're like, oh my God, I'm up here thinking that you wasn't talking to me.
I would be
you
like,
want to act like you don't know somebody. I'm like, no.
I'd be like, really? Because I don't think you know this Rona person that well if you think they were
me. It was funny because they were like, oh, acting like you don't know nobody, right? I'm like, because I don't know nobody.
Yeah,
because I ain't Rona.
That's hilarious. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
God, because that's an ugly ass name.
I used to have a hard time, like,
no offense to any Ronas out there,
right? That was rude. That's an ugly name, rude ass. Oh my God. Rude. I remember like when I used to work in the parks,
rudometer.
Yo, we used to have like so many team members, like 50. No, like. When I worked at the train, we used to have like 130 team members. How in the hell am I supposed to remember their names? And then on top of that, sometimes you spend like, there's 2 stations. So you could spend a whole day at one station and move back and forth between the stations and like never come in contact with certain people because they always work in the opposite station or something. And it's I would constantly be meeting new people. It'd be like, how long you been here? 4 months. What? When? You're like, when did you start working here?
No, the thing
I've
is,
been
how
here
do you
forever.
always remember me, but I can't remember none of y'all? You must not have been that special.
I started getting better with names in the park, and then I had to like be learning people's names. Then when I started working at the train where I met my wife,
God.
and then like she went by a name different than her legal name. So I would always be writing her legal name on the board and they'd be like, oh, don't write that. And I'd be like,
Who the heck
why?
is that?
That's her name. That's the name on the flash. That's the name on the document.
But that's not what we call her.
That's not what she goes by. She goes by Alvy. I'm like, oh, excuse me, Alvy. And now we're married.
Guess what? It's going to stay up there. Gladys.
Right? I'd be like,
and then
Gladys.
she comes in. That had to be Sam because she's
You know,
the only
right?
one.
You know how long it took me to remember how to like that's Alvy and not Gladys?
Alvy is too hard. Gladys is right here in my face.
I was like, what the heck is Alvy? A-L-V? How do you spell that? Like, what is that?
I would have been like Alvy, like A-L-V-I-N. No, that's Alvin.
Okay, she wasn't the only person too. There were like several people that like went by like other names, and I was like, okay,
look,
I
I'm going by your biblical name.
I had to learn 130 people, and you want me to remember the nicknames
Seriously.
too? Seriously,
I would have just been like putting their biblical names, and they're like, oh, they don't go by that. Well, they're going by it today.
That's the name on the document. That's the name on the legal document here.
That's their biblical name.
It says
so that's
Gladys.
What it's gonna say.
So I put Gladys.
If they don't like it, they could come and erase it and put their name up there.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Gladys. Expecting an old woman. It's Alvy. It's a young
Imagine
Alvy.
people who don't know her by her,
and it was
her born name, and they're like, "Who's Gladys?
Her born
Why
name. Her born name. I like that. I'm gonna start saying that. What's your born name? What? Yeah, you know the name you were born with. What's your born name? You can just say legal name.
It's too hard.
You know what? Today we're going by your born name, Gladys.
It's like, but can you imagine people who don't know her by Gladys and they're like, who am I working with? Who the hell is Gladys? Is she new? Am I training today?
I mean, like, no.
No. I think they call her Alvy. Oh, I've never seen that name up there for her.
I'm gonna be like, oh, you just change that. Alvy, whatever.
Whatever. Hey, I put Gladys up there. You put
like
it right back.
Like you
put
expect,
it back.
You expect me to remember that.
That's her born name. Put it back.
I just got here, okay? I'm trying to learn 130 names. Chill.
For real.
And you want me to remember that Gladys is Alvy.
Put her born name up there.
You said born name. I was like, okay. Born name. Yeah, we're gonna go by your born name today. Okay.
That's the name
I like
you were
that.
born with.
Yeah, I was like, I like that. I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna start saying born name. Yes, I go by Sam, but my born name is Samantha. That's the name I was born with.
The name that was pulled out of the hat, you know.
Oh yeah, the name that was pulled out of the hat.
She could have been a Victoria. She could have been of Crystal.
What kind of
Christina?
crystal, though?
Christina Crystal. You were almost Christina Crystal.
How many C names can you think up with?
Victoria.
Think up with? I can't talk. Yeah, but what name were you born with? What's your born name?
My born name. My born name is Nancy.
My born name.
They just call me Mimi.
My born name is Sammy.
You better put Mimi up on that board.
My born name is Samantha. It's Samantha, Samantha. A lot of people put Samantha.
And N-C-E-Y.
Samantha, Samantha. Samantha. No, that's how Pops is my name. Samantha. Ven aquí, Samantha.
Yes.
Oh, that's how I know I'm in trouble.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing.
I didn't do nothing.
What are you doing? Nothing. You sure? Yes.
At some point, we stopped talking about the episode.
We started talking about born names.
Why do we get to that? How do we get there?
O'Reilly.
Right. I was like, how did we get here to this exact spot?
This is
Let's
what
go
we
back and
always
see what the
do.
heck did we do to get
We started
here.
talking about one thing. We were talking about Riley and his born name, and then his
Well, you said born name.
his changed name, And then we started talking about other born names.
But he got it legally changed, so that's now his legal name.
Yes,
so I guess so for him it's a birth name, but you say born name. And that's your born name.
That was
it
his
just sounds
born
weird.
name.
It's like the ends; they're too close to each other. Born name. Can you say that 5 times fast?
Born name.
That's definitely not it.
Birth name.
See, birth name is just easier to say. Born name. All right, we challenge.
It was a mistake.
I challenge you to say born name 5 times fast without losing the ends. Born name.
Born in
who?
Born name. It's a board name.
Yeah, so
it's a bored ass name. No.
So we were talking about the episode, and the episode ended, and we got a preview for next episode. There's gonna be drama. It's going down.
Bennett is still in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah. I wonder when she's sitting down having the conversation with the guys about hoping she doesn't hurt people's feelings if it's about Bennett coming back. She said she doesn't want to disrespect anybody. It must have to do with Bennett.
Feeling that she's bringing Bennett back, and the guys are not gonna like it.
Probably not. Gonna be like,
why? Why? We're gonna see a lot of guys turn into females.
They all saw one less rose on the table. They were like, seriously, with such an important week coming up, Parents Week.
Exactly.
To bring Bennett back means to say that you think that you see yourself meeting his family over other people's here.
That means that your connection with him is bigger than Zach, is bigger than Ben, it's bigger than them.
It's bigger than us.
Or
it's gonna be interesting.
Also be saying that her feelings for Bennett is bigger than Noah. I was going to say Josh again.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh my God, I made a mistake and sent Noah home and kept Noah instead of Bennett.
We accidentally kept a gnome.
Here's the thing though. She was like, he showed up. She's always wanted a guy that would show up. And he showed up. She wanted a guy to tell her that he loved her. And he told her that I love her.
So he told her that you love her?
No. No, he told her I love you.
Well, we see something happening in next week's episode, that scene where she's crying on the sidewalk.
Yeah, because one of the guys that she has a connection with, I think probably tells her if he stays, I'm going.
You think?
I think so. Unless they're just making it all big drama. And
next
it's just
week.
Nothing.
Next week, we're getting 2 episodes.
Yes.
A Monday night and a Tuesday night. That means we're going to have a podcast on Tuesday.
Yay.
Podcast on Tuesday.
Yay.
Podcast on Tuesday.
Yay.
Podcast on Tuesday.
Yay. Double dose. Double dose.
We're going to get Tayshia.
Double dose.
We're going to get Tayshia crying on the sidewalk.
Tayshia crying on the sidewalk.
I think it's going to be
boo.
I'm going to play my little violin. Crying on the sidewalk 'cause she sent someone home. Tayshia's on the sidewalk crying all alone.
I thought you said Olive.
She probably sent Bennett home.
Now you're rubbing your fingers together like that's your
violin. Because, you know, in the, I keep wanting to say The Simpsons, in the Krusty Krab, in SpongeBob, when he plays the mini, it's a tiny thing. It fits between the index and the thumb, and he just rubs it back and forth, and he's playing a violin. Please play the tiniest violin. Okay, the sound you're making, what is that? You're like, going, ding, 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 ding. That is not what a violin sounds like. That's bad violin playing right there. Ew. No, the violin goes. I'm doing like some Game of Thrones theme or something.
I don't know. Off topic again. We're talking about poor Tayshia crying on the sidewalk, and we're wondering how to play the violin.
I'm gonna play a song for her. Yeah. So, I just want to say, rest in paradise for the following. And then we'll run our credits of like all the guys that got sent home.
Bye.
Goodbye, Spencer.
Damar.
Goodbye, Damar.
So long. We
Goodbye,
can't remember
Ed.
You. Oh, Ed. So long. We can't remember your name, Ed.
Goodbye, Bennett. Boom, boom, boom. But Bennett came back. That was perfect. I was like, I want to do one of those things where you cue the sad music,
right?
And then we're gonna start reading
kind of like
the people who've passed.
Yeah, like
in
what
Paradise.
they did
Like what they do for The Walking Dead.
Yeah, The Walking Dead.
Where they do the
Say
R.I.P.
farewell to all of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, except I'm gonna call it R.I.P. Rest in Paradise because usually when they
go to
get
paradise,
eliminated, they go to paradise. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. Rest in Paradise.
Hey.
Oh, we're gonna get a men tell all. We're getting a men tell all.
That's right. I think that's one of the episodes next week.
Oh,
the men tell all.
You're probably right. Dang it. That doesn't really count as an episode then.
I know, but it is. It's going to be the men tell all and the breakdowns.
And we're getting Yosef back. Yosef.
Well, he was part of the group. I don't know why they're bringing him back because
he was with Claire.
Was actually Claire's part.
And but he was still on the season. Are they going to bring Claire back too?
But Yosef has nothing to do with Tayshia.
No, but he was on the show. Men tell alls for every man who was eliminated.
Oh.
Which made me wonder, are they going to bring Claire back in again?
Well,
to address her part of the men or not? Or they'll bring her maybe virtually? I don't know.
No, I hope not. Because it's over. It's done.
She's like, I hope not.
I'm serious. I'm done with it.
I'm going to be honest.
Done with Claire.
At this point, I've already forgotten about her.
Seriously. I'm like all in Tayshia. Well, I mean,
okay. We're all in Tayshia now.
We're all into Tayshia right now. We can't go back. We got to move forward.
That's true.
There's no backsies.
No takesies back there. So anyway.
No take backsies.
So anyways, we hope that you enjoyed today's breakdown of the episode and the recap. And we were all over the place. It was good times. We had laughs. We shared tears. Just kidding. I didn't cry because I don't have emotions. But yeah, I'm just kidding. We'll be back again next week. I just keep rolling, just keep talking. We'll be back again next week to cover next week's episode. We're gonna have an episode on Tuesday because there's gonna be a Monday episode, and then we're gonna have an episode on Wednesday because there's gonna be a Tuesday episode. Yay! I mean, if it's like a men tell all, how much is there gonna be to talk about? But I don't know. We'll just talk about.
Men, sometimes they're worse when you're in a group than
sometimes.
Women are.
I'm excited to see the men yell at Yosef. It'll be a good time. I'm excited to see Yosef address his naked pictures that he likes to send around the internet.
What?
We'll see if they address that. That's all I got for today.
All right.
And with that being said, oh wait, I can't go without telling you to make sure that you're subscribed to our podcast and make sure that you like us and follow us. We are all over the internet. Every part of the internet that you're in, we're probably into. So make sure that you look for us. Chats and Recaps, also at chatsandrecaps.com. We got some fun new stuff on there. So make sure you check out our website. And we appreciate everyone who listens in. And we hope that you're staying safe, happy, and healthy and manifesting everything you desire out of life.
Amen.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.